The resolution we had on the COVID expired. But instead of renewing this thing every 60 days, I had to change it to leave in effect until we see what happens. Okay, because who knows how long this is going to go on. But you have to get in PPE, you have to have a declaration in place, so I didn't want to take that off the table for us.
Pretty well supplied with PPE.
Well, we have bought some. We haven't had a big run on it from the state. There's some things available and it kind of goes in spurts. The hospital hasn't been having. I mean, everybody's been trying to go through the vendors and actually get bought some. I bought some. Here's my.
Here?
I need to accept
Sanitizer.
Okay.
ACL, please.
And this was.
Well, this morning, they're now encouraging, the state is encouraging to go through the vendors. And in last resort.
Yes, the schools and everybody that, because if schools open up, then the mask orders in place for that, which is for some reasons, I'm not sure how this plays out. The state board of education needs to sort of, so we see what they say about the vendors. Then we can provide, because that's up to them, because it cannot, does not have the
Right.
authorities to tell the schools that. So it has to be done by them. You can't opt out of it like you could the mask.
That's not what the superintendent told me yesterday.
No, the superintendent's wrong. Because they went over that specifically on our call yesterday.
So Kansas Board of Education's got the total call on that?
About when school starts.
No, about wearing
The
masks,
mask, I don't know. about
taking
the mask.
temperatures, what age kids wear it. But like you had told me earlier, he wants our input, he's on the agenda next week.
So, well, yeah, we're actually putting up next week to talk about some of this stuff because the things local around us. I mean, we don't have much of this one, but it's on to a surprise from Martin County. Martin County hasn't been, they've been surprised. Sedgwick County shutting down the bars, 15 for a maximum gathering. Sell liquor. If you want to be open and sell liquor, you have to have a food license. And then those places have to put them on. And that's going to be effective until,
So are we still allowing the little kids basketball run out of the tournaments all the state?
there's a big one. There's a big one here coming up.
I mean, that's something where we're supposed to stay at home and worry about all that.
And I don't,
But we got
you
teams
know, I
that are
don't
going.
know how that's going to play out in Sedgwick County because a lot of this stuff, which
I don't think we ought to be allowing it to go on stuff, our stuff, county kids to go all over the state and bring stuff back. But I don't know if it's our,
It's kind of over with now. though.
well, the big national tournament's coming up. And I don't know how they're going to do that with the word. Because they're all never going, you only have 15 people. So, that's their problem, not mine.
If the parents dropped them off, it didn't stay. In the next week, the superintendent is gonna be here and he would like some direction. I would like to know legally, who's responsible for that? Is it the school board, the Kansas State Board of Education? What do the county
I think
commissioners
they-
do?
Well, I have a twofold answer.
Okay.
My first is, I think the state school board is supposed to meet today.
Yes.
So we might know something after today. My second answer is, tune in this time next week, because it'll be something entirely different. But
If you-
I'm fine with meeting and saying, this is what the answer is.
Well, state
And
that
attendance-
day.
And they're not wondering about the start date, Mike. What they're wondering about is the mask order.
Right,
And
right. But again, tune in next week, because it could change.
Yeah, because they said that came down to what the county said,
And
on
that's,
the mask order.
and that's typically what it is. But
On the start date, it's up to the state school board. The State Board of Education.
Right.
And when they give their start date, from what I understand, once the State Board of Education gives their start date, then the counties can't change that or anything.
The counties have no say about when school starts or when school
What's
doesn't
the state
start.
doing?
But the
Mandatory
governor's
masks?
mask wearing
Yeah.
deal.
Is it-
But the governor's mask wearing deal, we have
But you are
some
going
say so.
Yes.
to go back to class.
But there's
Well,
some 5-year-old kids.
They're gonna call August 3rd, that's all we do, so.
I've heard everywhere from 5 to 12.
Yeah.
As of
But
right
like Mike
I'd
said,
hate to be a teacher dealing with
but like
5-year-old
Mike
kids.
said, so, you know, 2 weeks ago, they were saying K through 5 doesn't have to wear masks, 5 or K5 on up, which I can see that being feasible, but you can't get a bunch of kindergartners and first graders wear masks.
Josh says
Well,
as it is right now, 4 and 5-year-olds have to wear a mask and stay 6 foot apart.
Well, what
You
they,
have fun with that.
well, what they said the worst part was, you know, when your mom or grandma makes you a mask or whatever, it looks really cool, well, then you wanna trade with the other kid, and you're spreading the, it's, oh, I wanna try yours, oh, I wanna try yours, okay, and, you know, yeah, it's gonna be,
I told him if he wanted us to do something, he better have a recommendation.
I'm with you. I would agree with that.
And I talked to him yesterday after you talked to me, and he said that they've got a meeting set up for all other superintendents and schools.
And see, I'll bet all those superintendents, I'll bet they've all gotta be talking to each other, communicating, hey, how are we gonna,
I told him they needed to.
We
Yeah,
talked
they
to
do.
them earlier about what was
Maybe that's
expected
the
then, but
problem.
that was
It could
before
be.
things kind of blew
It's-
up.
He's not.
If things continue to blow up,
It's
I'm
probably-
sure we're going to have some
One of the
positives, and that's why we're going to next week on Tuesday and see, be proactive instead of reactive to it. If it happens here, it's probably what we ought to do.
One of the concerns he had that he thought we could help with was make it equal for all of the schools in the county, so he might have an issue with one of them not talking. He wants us to make it the same for everybody. I just don't know if that's within our authority, to make it the same for everybody.
Well, I mean, if the schools in the county would have to be exempt. If
But
we
we have their own school board.
No, if we said, if the
If
county
we
says
did.
it, yes.
That's why I think.
Well, yes, I understand what they're doing, and you know what they're
Yeah.
doing, so I mean, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. That, and the other thing he mentioned a lot was the going back to the mass limit gathering, so he knew how many kids could be in the lunchrooms. Like whether it's 50 or 40.
Well, right now, we have nothing,
Right.
because we have no
Because
plan.
the only thing that we're talking about is on little kids was having their meals in the room.
But then they
You know,
decided,
not
we,
going to the cafeteria,
they
but
talked
that was
about
just-
that, but that it is a janitor's.
Right, and that was just a topic of discussion.
Yes, I know, I mean, we talked
Yeah.
about that in our
Right.
meeting that day too.
We kind of wanted everybody to go to the lunchroom.
It's-
He wanted to know how many at a time we could take.
But when your classes get out and you've got all the kids in the hallway changing classrooms, I mean,
Well, they're talking about trying to stagger them the best they can.
They wanted to take like 2 classes at a time to the lunchroom.
yeah.
And it's not an issue until somebody gets in. And it's just like if it gets into a hospital, the rest of them.
Well, I think what they're, at least the way I understood it, was if they get kids, if they get the kids with coronavirus, if they shut down school, we go to online classes. It's just all about getting started and trying to start school normally. You know, ending school online is one thing, trying to start school online is going to be a trade off.
Well, yeah, because it was the first part of the school year, so back previous year, so make sure everybody knew what they were supposed to know.
Anyway, it's probably going to be on the agenda for next week.
I make a motion to pass resolution 2020-14.
Have a motion and a second to pass resolution 2020-14. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Do we have to check a certain percentage of our bridges every year on this bridge inspection agreement?
Well, only if they're fracture critical or don't meet one of the criteria. There are some that have to be done manually, but we don't have to.
So if
we're
they're-
taking the one out, we're gonna put another one across it. Now, if there's one, we have to do it every year.
When are you guys gonna get to doing that? The river up?
So, well, I mean, they're working on the plan right now, so yeah, it's fall or maybe this winter or something, I'm not sure.
But if a bridge passes inspection, then when's the next time it has to be inspected?
2%.
2%.
And they're trying to get some of these secret boxes, you know, what I'm talking about, these barrel boxes. Because the fiber that hasn't been quite taken out yet. And actually, the price is actually still the same as it was 15 years ago. We do have one now, straight southwest Africa, back to the west, is on the news call. Or something backed up where you can't see the substructure, so you have to have an inspection. So that,
Oh, no.
that one would cost a little bit more. I'm sure than $100 because you have to put some of the all this other stuff.
Can we just get someone to take out the beaver?
Yeah, we fix it.
It's on private property, so.
Just ask them real nice.
Yes.
Bryce will go down there and trap that beaver.
Yeah.
Well, it's either beaver, it's blocked up somewhere now on it.
It's probably like
And
a
it's-
rattlesnake out here. There's so many trees laying in the river that's just right back there.
Well, there are people that, there's some out. Out here, this, north of 50, probably south too. Oh, it used to be something there south, straight east of the Louis, the Sports. Yeah, probably is. They were in here for a long time, and then when they moved back in, it's,
Unless the water the other day might have took it out for a little while. Don't know what that.
you know, they only want a small flow going through there.
Is that the same agreement I have?
Yeah, there's two copies.
Like, is this a yearly deal? Or is this a
Biannual.
5-year deal? I make them
Every year.
every other year. But this agreement is just a 2-year.
This is agreement for this year's doing it.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the engineering service agreement with Kirkland Mitchell.
Second.
Michael.
Okay, we have a motion second to enter into the agreement with Cook and Michaels for bridge inspection. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
That bridge that you had the deck, or the bridge that was there a bridge between Zenith and Stafford on Dirt Road?
Yeah.
Did we get that fixed, or we're just waiting on the
No,
study?
we're still waiting on the engineering on it. Cheaper phase out there, so hopefully it'll go on October. So somewhere, I don't know when we get started. It should be a fairly quick bridge because it's one of these bridge.
So will we have, I mean, we're tearing out the whole bridge and putting down new pilots and girders, and we'll be able to do that, you can hire them.
No, it'll go to a contractor.
Okay.
So we don't have to do that. Provide it, provide power, everything, that's the way it's about $25,000. Yeah, only. I mean, some companies, our bridges are really also very good shape and stuff. So, per year, we got 45 steel structures.
Yeah.
This was the top was steel and the bottom was wood structure, substructure.
So just went in there and laid the steel over the top of the old wood?
Yeah. we did some on top of the wood, yeah. I forgot about that. Just what happened.
Martin, I want to talk to you about culvert on Southeast 50th Avenue. Just south of the airport, south of 50th. gonna call you, because it's.
Well, I saw him yesterday, but I don't remember him
It's
saying
going
anything about.
around, water's going across.
Oh, is that where them guys have worked at? I will talk.
Yeah.
This fall, if it dries out some.
How's the
Oh,
overlaying going?
Pardon?
How's the overlaying going?
Oh, we're over on Zenith. We've always Zenith Road. Parts of, what's the south side? Oh, I would like to be down soon. Doesn't think it's gonna happen.
It's good to have goals.
This is a supplement to the striping contract, the striping marking agreement for this year. I'm not sure what we changed. I'm not
It
It's
said
something.
in there, it reflected a change in location.
So, yeah, and I'm not sure what they think, so I'm gonna go from there. Make sure.
Do we just stripe where we overlay, or do they stripe all the roads?
They're striking all over. You'll see it this year. So it'll be two. So, try to do that too. So, I'm sure somebody will start calling about that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they will.
So if they won't, if they won't, we'll just get them.
The only change I see is more descriptive, where the number.
Yeah, and they're using the FAS routes with RS routes, which I know what they are. This is Stafford, Illinois, that is one of those units, one of those, the southeast of, south of, Midwest or south Emerson. I'm not sure what the local, northeast, southeast streets.
That covers everything.
That's the worst
project number it is.
So,
Yeah.
Supplemental agreement, asking what it's about.
I think we're okay with that. This is covering everything we wanted to do.
Oh, the state comes in.
Well, the state handles it, right, the state oversees the striping. That's who we're making this
Well,
agreement with.
We're making an agreement with it, and then Kirkland Michaels is going to do it.
Yeah,
Was the one engineering it out, and then they'll go out for contract, which is the contractor, the guy that has done ours, and then it gets to go on these.
it's just a supplemental agreement with the department, for local projects.
I'll make a motion that we sign the supplemental agreement number 1 with the Department of Local Projects, Bureau of Local Projects.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to sign the supplement number 1 agreement with the Bureau of Local Projects. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Yeah. A lot of these ditches, you got down there with the track, you don't do that.
Yeah.
You cannot get in them this year.
Hope.
I'd be late for
Yeah.
Christmas will,
Yeah.
especially the east-west roads. Been down that road, that's not a good deal, when you get snow.
It'll dry up one of these days, and then in
Yeah.
3 weeks, we'll be whining and crying about being dry.
It won't rain after September 1st. We'll hang up all day. Then you won't be able to get your read up.
So that's where we're at on that. I did talk to Chauncey and Road Wider and give one of Clifford's.
Now, what's this meeting next Tuesday?
That's the one we did with Mercy Homes. So if one of you guys would like to come, if you want to come. I don't think you can have both of you there just because
Who's the meeting with?
it's gonna be Shannon and Dr. Farmer and that's Rob.
Like the one we used to do?
Yeah.
What time?
It'll be in there, so.
Tuesday night, okay.
Well, I've got an appointment at 11:45. I think it's gonna last more than 5 minutes.
I've been going to that meeting, so
So, yeah.
I'll go to it.
And will you be at the Spark meeting, Spark hunting meeting tomorrow?
Is that tomorrow? We're at-
Well,
I haven't-
Carolyn
I haven't gotten any of those.
is supposed to let people know, so I'm wondering if it's a,
I called her yesterday evening because I thought the meeting was supposed to be last night. She said it was Thursday. It's gonna be Thursday at 8:30 in the
30
morning.
morning, okay, is it still on then?
From what, yeah.
And she was supposed to let people know.
Because actually, I was asking the smart city clerks about it, so.
Yeah. She said that she had said that the guy, or the company that we had ordered to kind of oversee this, that he was gonna be
He's
down in
gonna
this
come
area.
out, yeah.
Said he's doing like 13 or 14 rounds. And that was his time frame, was when he could be here at 8:30 in the morning.
So other than that, no, I'm not seeing it. We should look, they deposit about half of them.
I thought Carolyn was gonna, we did get 823,000 and change.
All of it at once?
I thought it was gonna be 2 steps. Do we have to spend it in 2 steps?
No, it just has to be all paid out, but your first deal is, the first phase, which was basically the county government type phase, the plan is due to the state by the 15th of August. Which is coming up pretty quick. This, 3 weeks.
And that's phase one.
That's phase one. Yeah, it's supposed to be in 3 phases.
Then 3 in the end of the year.
And then, I don't know exactly. Well, it's kind of like everything else.
We don't know.
I wait to see with these guys because they may change horses in the stream and leave you on the same horse.
We might have to
Calls her
return
weekend.
that.
Yeah.
That, I can't see us.
Yeah, I talked to Liam about Bradley, I kind of got away.
Really?
Some counties have gotten like.
Well, I know Sedgwick did, right?
Oh, yeah,
Hey.
Sedgwick,
They got their-
they're
With no-
straight from the federal government.
With no strings.
So, yeah,
They can do it.
And Overland Park, same way, or Johnson County.
Johnson.
And more than likely Shawnee.
No.
No?
Just
All the
Just
rest,
those two?
just those 2 big counties. They're straight to them, everybody else was. Some of them, yes, it was based on population and COVID rate, which.
And the unemployment rate
And
too
then the unemployment
was
rate.
factored in there somewhere.
Yes. It was just so much more. Ford County, some more cards. Ford County for there.
We got 194.
We were all pretty close, so we didn't carry a whole lot. I saw the list of that 194, there's a lot of right around us too.
Yeah, anybody that basically the same size county as us, got a bunch of same thing. Especially west of it. Anything else?
to accept the tax roll corrections.
Correction.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the tax roll correction. All in favor, say aye.
I
Motion
make,
carried.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes for the July 15th meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the July 15th meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Okay, I've given you, I didn't print out the whole final budget. I've given you the publication pages that shows you the final mill levy.
Yes, please.
You can, I have the document here, I just didn't, kill a tree again. This is with all the changes that we had discussed a couple of weeks ago. Everything looked into it. So if you're good with it, we need to get this approved so I can get it published.
And this is the same budget that you gave us.
The second draft, yes. Yeah, it is.
So our budget before we went from 119,000 to 8,967.
What did you see?
Where are you at?
On the totals on the first page. Total expenditures for 19, what is budget? 19. No, it went from 7.8 to 7.9.
Right, your expenditures.
Yes. That would be the fee, well, set the property tax. But the 2020 is an estimate.
Yes. Like I said, if you're good with this, let's get it approved, because I've got to get it to the paper by, at least by the 31st.
Budget hearings on the 19th.
Right. So I have to have it in the paper by, it's got to be 10 days before the hearing. And the hearing has to be done by the 25th of August, so we're pushing it up against the deadline.
You good with it?
Okay. A motion to approve the budget is published.
Was that a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the budget as had been published.
You're approving the budget for publication.
Approving, I make a motion to approve the budget for publication.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the budget for publication. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried.
We need to open these bids for
Got to wait for Carla or just?
he's not here. I thought he was going to be here. So. We got two bids.
Taking a guess,
And remember, if neither bid meets your expectations, you can refuse both bids.
We'll see what the bids are. $3.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a bid. That is Clark, 3,500. Is there somebody that knows the value? Bid of $1,575.
No, there's no. Heck, I know.
So we accept that bid. Put that in
Make a motion to accept the bid from Natalie Clark for the 2003 Chevy Blazer for $3,500.
Motion and second to accept the bid from Natalie Clark for $3,500 for the Chevy Blazer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
You're the one.
She can haul her drums back and forth.
Yeah.
He said it had a lot of good life.
So, does Kurt need to sign the title?
I'll do that. We've got to get that tractor out of there because I don't think Taylor wants us to know where she's going.
Just give her
It has a
mom and dad
GPS
the-
tracker in there.
Natalie, why don't you
So we
put it
need to get that out of there and, can I just call your mom?
Either
Or
way's fine.
You'll give me your number?
Sure.
Okay.
Natalie works into Pico. She's usually home Thursday night and then for the weekend and then back to Topeka on Monday.
Well, I can call you.
That's
Just give
fine.
me your number.
It's 620-352-1247.
I'll see if Philip can't get that pulled out there today
Okay.
and then I'll give you a call.
Sounds good.
Shannon at 9:15. Carolyn's here.
Carolyn, do you have something?
I did, I just checked in with things, but I didn't get on the agenda.
We'll give you 5 minutes.
Okay, it's fine. I talked with you, but it's, the Spark meeting tomorrow at 8:30. Scott Boyd, one of the partners at school, Scott Boyd is going to be in person, because they're also kind of his schedule. But, so I have contacted, I don't know if I go through the list, but it's essentially the public entities in Maxville, Stafford, St. John. We've also contacted Radiant and Sewer. I don't know if they'll be there or not, but they've essentially given me some feedback that broadband, if something was to help them with broadband access. We have, so my process is essentially asking them in advance for the costs they've actually already incurred, which are easily reimbursable, and then basically the wish list of expenses related to this, and then we'll see kind of where we land and where those wishes are relative to the amount of funding we have. And anticipate tomorrow's discussion is a bit of that, how we want to go about prioritizing, and then some feedback from Scott as to like what they're seeing as being eligible statewide, we're representing 14 other counties or 14 counties in total. So maybe be able to get some shared information on what's being seen as eligible.
Does anybody submit?
Yeah, not everybody has. We've been following them, so we've got information from Stafford and St. John schools, for example, they don't have a list from Maxwell. We've got city lists from St. John. Wow, we got Stafford, but it's on Maxville. Maxville City hasn't actually written anything down. I just took some notes from, talking with them. So, I know. Ultimately, if we, put it in, right, I mean.
You don't need to repeat that one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do we need to be there?
I thought
Probably.
one of you
One of
should
you
be there.
College on.
I'm gonna be there. We just need to get an idea of how we're gonna manage this. And then, since we're the one that's, mom is gonna pay it out, I need to know the process.
Right.
I guess that's the word.
I hope
It's like
Scott will-
district court submitted another request, and I've got those computers in a hopper, and
Did I
Carl
miss-
had a monitor. I emailed those to you yesterday, did you get those?
I'm gonna go check right.
That's
It's
mine.
the same thing, but you've added to it, is that right?
No, that's mine, for
Okay.
all the computers I went. District court sent to, there's another one, I emailed them to you yesterday. Did you
Okay.
get them?
Yeah.
Carl needs a new monitor for his, public station, because they're gonna move that up on the counter so people don't come back behind their office. I guess I just need to know who to pay what when.
I think Scott will be helpful in helping that and establishing
Because we
that.
do have
I'm
the money.
envisioning it is when we come up with our, the essentially budget that we submit to the state, that's the authorization.
So even these little things, like the laptops and stuff, all have to be on this plan? Or can you spend up and just have to have a plan for what's left? I guess is my question.
What's the chances in the future?
I mean, if we can, as these come in, if we can go ahead and get them and pay for them, you know, that's what I need to know is,
Oh,
and who approves what we purchase? Do these guys? See where I'm going? There's gotta be some,
so this is
Yeah.
why we're meeting.
okay, cool.
That guy that we hired that company, I imagine they probably already have an idea of how they're gonna all those things, you know?
Okay. Ask for right now. Set. Technology's on my list too. My computer really kicking me from. I've had some conversations in the last week with, my latest one was with the general counsel at Department of Commerce. And, some of our discussion has been along the lines of not only is this eligible or not, but how to be eligible for this part funding. And, some of the angles I had talked about were related to the impact of the property tax base and the economic downturn. His interpretation is that the law speaks specifically to that this can't replace local government's revenues, and that kind of gets too close to that. So the idea to emphasize more would be the idea of job creation, and if we want to tie it to this idea of oil economic downturn, that perhaps those are jobs that can be filled with people who have not the same employment from the oil industry. So, some have been also our latest discussion. I've had some discussions too with Jake Farrell, who drew these plans about what the process would be for collecting bids, because the way I'm envisioning it is that there's no way we're going to spend this money by December 31st. We're going to have to figure out a way to be obligated. So even that, to get the engineering and bid process is a short time frame. So he's given me, a rundown of what that process is. The challenge of that is that there's costs with going through that, and I'm not proposing that the county jump out and pay for those. But I'm not sure how to get them paid for until we, it's $120,000 worth of topographic design and boundary survey, geotechnical investigation, civil engineering design. That's the biggest part of it. But just to let you know, I'm going through to figure out what that would entail.
But you said the Port Authority
board meeting yet, or?
No. Are we, I'm not, okay, I think I got feedback that you confirmed another person. I'm not sure I have feedback on the, so, I don't know, maybe we have enough people, we should just set a date and then, what we or your view.
Like in August.
I think I'm gonna be going. I think I'm going to Mississippi the 8th and we'll be back till the 11th.
How about we're going to hot zone? Wearing mask.
Fish
Don't
don't.
take any pictures, right?
No Facebook.
Commissioner Wyckoff.
How about August 6th?
Bring it all.
Would be fine, I think.
So you'll be going to 10?
Pardon? What was the time?
That's when we canvass the ballots for the election.
That's not,
You said, okay, you said you're the 8th through the 11th. Okay, so doing it
we might
before
have to have a
then.
special meeting too,
Whatever, up there.
I
before the
think
10th.
before then, because I think we're over.
6th.
6th work?
Seven?
9, no, time.
Oh, 7. Although, it could be a very long meeting. How about 6?
And the,
If I provide food, does that ease the pain of meeting?
And 6.
It would not make you difference. You don't have to do that.
Okay. Let me just check. I assume you want an annex.
Yeah, I think that's easiest.
Worry about that, John.
did you leave your new conference table in rural office?
We did.
Are you in there?
Yeah, the intent was that it can be
I
used
don't
for,
need a
you know,
ton of
those
time, so
smaller
it's
types of
okay.
meetings.
How many people?
Oh, you wanna have, you wanna, 7.
The commission.
Each one from there. Each commissioner, each one has one representative, plus Carol.
Okay. So let's see, August.
That's about when it will dry up and you can actually get on.
Yeah.
Do you wanna make it next week? Instead of
I would
following?
prefer not.
Who's your representative, or
Mitch Holmes.
Mitch Holmes?
We have not met Bryce for how long?
Year?
It's been a while.
Oh, it's been
Oh,
long.
it's been like 3 years.
3 years.
3 years? My, how time flies.
It's been 3 years at least.
Okay.
Got you down to the 6th.
6th and the 6 p.m. Is that what we agreed?
6:30.
6:30?
I wrote down 6.
The 6 is fine. 6 is fine.
6?
6.
And I'll show up by 6:30.
I think we use all of our time.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
talked to Lisa Cornwall a little bit about St. John's School's plans for what they're gonna do as they reopen. So I have a couple of things I wanted to just bring up about the Sparks funding with that and for the health department too. With it being kind of a mandatory thing for them to check temperatures as the kids come into the schools. I know last year, St. John's Schools had a grant for these thermometers, they're called Kinsa thermometers, and they link to an app on your smartphone. So whenever you take the temperature, it loads to that app, and then if you have the app connected to your school district, it sends the temperature to the school nurse. So I think her and I kind of talked about it, that I think would be a good idea, because I don't know if Stafford and Maxville had that same grant last year. I know quite a few kids from the St. John School used that because an incentive for the parents was if we have all the kids in this classroom and get this thermometer, the teacher gets free cleaning supplies. So I know everybody in my daughter's class got the thermometer. So we have one at home. I know a lot of the kids in the school have one already at St. John. So it might be, if they are able to get that many thermometers, to have that kind of use of the Sparks funding to supply thermometers to all the students. That way that can be something that the parent does at home before they come to school. So it's one less thing that the teachers and staff have to do with getting the kids into the building. And that way it puts a little bit of responsibility on the parents for making sure that kids are safe before they come to school.
If they don't do it.
Then the teachers will still have to do it at the school. But I just thought might be a good thing to think about with the Sparks funding since we've got it. She looked into the cost, it's about $29 to $30 for each thermometer. But like I said, a lot of students in St. John already have it. So.
And that thermometer Bluetooths to your phone, and then your phone is on the app,
Mhm.
and sends it to the nurse.
And then it loads it into a spreadsheet for the school nurse. And then they can actually pull data from that.
And the school nurse should know by the time school starts whether they've done
Who
it.
should be there?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What if they come in an hour late and they haven't done it?
They'll have to do the temp as they walk in the building then. But I mean, it's one way they can kind of maybe ease the burden of something that they've got to do every day upon entering the school. So something to think about.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So what needs to happen if I need to get an email explaining all that?
Okay.
With the cost?
Okay, I can tell Lisa, because she had all that, and she
If she
gave it
just
to me,
email it
so.
to me?
Okay. Yep, I'll tell her to do that. And then something I was thinking about, with all of the supplies that we've been getting and keeping so that we have it, it would be, we have a shed behind the health department, but it's in bad shape. It is rickety, it's dirty. I was wondering if there was a way so that we can get some of this, because I have a closet completely crammed full of supplies right now. If I could get some bids for like a sturdy built shed to replace the one that's behind the health department, which I don't have built into my budget because I wasn't planning on doing that, but with the Sparks funding, I would be able to put a lot of those COVID supplies into a nice new storage shed behind the building that would be more functional than what we've got. Because what we've got, we don't have a lot of super important things in there because it's just not in good shape and it's dirty and it's been there a long time. So just another thought for the Sparks funding.
I would specify on that shed, it was be insulated.
Yes.
And it has a secure door.
Yes. Well, which I've had to replace the lock on ours
Yeah.
because somebody has cut it off before.
Really?
Yeah. So I
So
had to go to
maybe
the
you
lumber
keep-
yard and buy a new lock for it because I went out there to get
So
something
keep
out
that.
and it had been cut.
Really?
And a stick was in there holding the door shut. And I was like, wow, that's cool.
It's an important purpose.
Yeah.
But I'd say an insulated keypad lock.
And I
Is
mean,
there a
of course, I
concrete
would,
slab out there?
it's the one that's out there is on a concrete slab.
Would you need a bigger one than that one?
If I got
How
a
big that is.
sturdy built, I probably would have to have a bigger slab than what is there. And I would make sure that everything's put into nice containers, like, we have the emergency trailer, and we've got a lot of those nice containers in there to hold things to keep them from getting dirty. And we've got that thing crammed full. I mean, you can't even walk into it now. We've got so much stuff in it. So that's why overflow, there's a lot of stuff being stored in the health department now too. And I mean, we have a nice sized closet that's got built-in shelving on it, but it was already full to begin with, so we can't walk into that closet now either without taking stuff out. So I would make sure we had nice like plastic storage bins to put into the shed too, to make sure everything stays
Would a clean trailer work better than
Well,
a building?
and then I was also thinking about a container.
Well, that's what, yeah.
You can get those smaller container, I don't know how big your slab is, but you can get one like the size of this room. You know, they call them pods.
Yeah, but the containers, even the sturdy built, I mean, where the sturdy built's been on skids, I don't know if it has to have a concrete slab. I mean, if it sticks over on the asphalt. But as far as something secure that you're not gonna be able to break into, one of those pods would probably be,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
would be more inclined to something like that.
I mean, they're pretty much, they're tight.
Is there a broker you go to get one?
That's what I was wondering. I didn't know.
They, guys over at Hutchison's where we got all of ours done.
Oh, before you get to Hutch, the overpass
Yes.
on the north
Yes.
side?
Yeah. They have brand, you get like once run ones that have been on a barge once with stuff in it. You can get brand new ones and you can get like heavily used ones. A once run one is like brand new pretty much, you know, it's had stuff in it once, been on a barge over here, but it's not used up, they're pretty nice. You could even have them cut a walk-in door into them, so you don't have to do your
Yeah.
big doors, you know, you just go through it. And then like you're saying, you have a lock when you walk in, you lock the door like that, you know.
Do you buy them or rent?
You buy them, yeah. And the smaller pods are by far the most expensive. You can buy a 20-foot long one cheaper than you can buy one of those short, I don't know whether they're 12-foot.
Yeah.
What are the 20-foot ones?
Yeah, I don't know what your space is back there.
Do you know how big
A 20's pretty big.
your building is now?
Maybe 6 by 5.
Oh, really?
It's not that
It's
big.
not
It's the shed.
It's just a garbage.
It's just a
Yeah.
shed with some shelving put on the walls.
But I know you can spray insulation in them too. I know the Dillon Feed Yard just did it. They sprayed, they had somebody PNS wire it up with lights and stuff, and they came in and sprayed foam inside, and it's their medicine shed with it, you know, climate controlled. If you had climate controlled needs, you know, you can put a little unit in there. And
Is your latex gloves, stuff like that? Can't put those in the oven.
Which those are in that trailer right now.
I would say that we probably ought to look at getting bids on the pond and then also sturdy building. The pond's not as far out of line, but anything in these things go on.
Oh, yeah.
What do those run?
I hate to say those pods are 5, 6, 7,000.
And then you said the 20-foot
Sturdy
cheaper?
builds.
Well, yeah, you get
So
a,
it's thinking like-
yeah, and that may, the sturdy built may be more than that, but you can get a 20-footer for 3,500.
If the spark funding will pay for this.
The ones,
A once
once
run,
you
I mean, I
use.
would
yeah.
think it's pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would, because I can tie that back to COVID easily, because that's what the supplies are gonna be that's inside of it.
Absolutely.
Let's just go.
Might as well get it good.
And make sure you tell them you want a steel, you know, a walk-in door, steel door. And then I would think that we probably, once we get on site, not have somebody come in and wire some lights. And then talk about the insulation.
Because it'd be weatherproof. I mean, you wouldn't have to worry about hail.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're not gonna break them.
No,
I know.
yeah.
And Willinger Construction does, local, does that spraying insulation
Oh, okay.
that you'd like.
Okay. I'll look into bids for that then. And then, we have an opportunity for another grant. It's specifically for health departments. I keep going back and forth on whether or not to apply for it because we already were allocated $13,000 for COVID at the beginning of everything that I have to have spent down by next September. So I keep going back and forth because of the what if game with if we have more cases, we could potentially need more funding, but if we don't, then I don't know how to go about spending down all of this funding if I go and get another grant. This one, it's for staffing and infrastructure. They have little caveats to it that are separate from the grant that are for like enhancing testing or things like that. The only way I can think of for the testing enhancement that we would really need to do is to maybe get a contract with Quest so that we could take specimens in the health department if we got to that point where we needed to do more testing. And then, I mean, the hospital uses Quest for theirs that they send out, so we could have them have the courier pick it up from there instead of having the courier go to them and us both. But I don't know that I really have to apply for that. I wanted to see what your thoughts were on that kind of thing, because like I said, we have that $13,000 still.
If we predict the future,
I know, that's why I'm just like, I don't know.
does it have to be implanted or?
It's supposed to be sent in by the 31st of this month, so they didn't give us a ton of time either.
If you get it, could you turn it back?
I don't have to apply for the full amount. We are allowed $9,872, but I don't have to apply for the full amount. I can apply for whatever I'd like. They are saying that it can be used for overtime and for one-time bonuses for staff that have been working through COVID. So I know a lot of counties are doing that to kind of say thank you for your time through doing all of this for the last few months. I don't know how that works with, because they had something in an email about capers and like dollar amounts, and that could throw things off with capers. So that's why I'm just like, I don't even know if I want to even go after this one because of all the funding we've already.
I would think you'd have a better idea than you would have.
That's why I keep going back and forth, because it's just like, I don't know if I really even want to have that in the mix
Yeah.
of everything else.
I think we can handle it.
So, yeah, because you've got 2 or 3 other sources of funding.
Yes, that's why I just have sat here and been like, okay. And then the last thing I had was, I have kind of contacted the group that we had, that we were having lunch meetings with, to have another meeting next week, just because of all of the mandates going on around us, all of the increases in cases going on around us. We have had one more case, so with all of that going on, the state numbers increasing, and school right around the corner, I thought it would be good to have everybody get together again to have another meeting to be proactive before anything happens here next Tuesday.
So we have 2 cases in the county.
One active, one recovered. And we've had multiple quarantines due to being close contacts.
I think quarantine people have done a good job.
Well, we've gotten phone calls on one, and I contacted them myself and said, we need to stop. So at one time, I think we had 15 or 16 total quarantines due to being close contacts. And I was checking in with them every other day to make sure they weren't becoming symptomatic, so.
Is that about a week ago when we started on that quarantine?
That was 2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago Saturday, or no, a week ago Saturday, and then we had,
10 days.
yeah, so we're, at 10 days, and then, I got notified of more at the end of last.
Shannon, going back to this temperature thing in schools, did the school provide the app? And
The app is free.
the app is free, but the thermometers are $30. Did the school buy those, or did they
It was
get
through a
that
grant
through a
last
grant?
year. So that's how St. John did it, was through a grant.
And you don't know if Stafford or Maxville
I
did
don't
that?
know if they did the grant or not. I just know that St. John did because my daughter was in preschool and so
So preschool, kindergarten,
yep, preschool through
12.
12.
Decent thermometers, pretty accurate.
Yeah, they're oral thermometers,
Oh.
but I mean,
Oh, they're not
They-
instant read.
Okay.
Oh, I
So you
thought
need to take a couple minutes to go.
30 minutes.
But you know, even if half the
$30.
but
kids,
it's digital. They're digital, but yeah. It's because they're digital and they link to us, they Bluetooth to your phone.
Oh, well, that's a.
That's why they're expensive, because they Bluetooth to your
The
phone.
old fashioned kind
You
of
know,
me there.
the kid,
$2?
Yeah.
it was, you had to sign up for it. So that's why I don't know that all of the kids have it, but I know a lot of the elementary kids do have it.
but you know, even if just 3/4 or half of the kids do it, I mean, it's that much less they have to become homeschooled.
That'd be better than meeting every one of them at the door.
So,
Well, and honestly, if they've got those temporal thermometers anyway, they're not gonna read accurate if you're meeting them at the door and it's 30 degrees outside, or if it's 100 degrees outside, it's gonna show that they have a 99.
their surface temperatures.
Yeah, it's not gonna be accurate. And you don't want them to come into the building, acclimate to the temperature of the building, and then find out, oh, you've got 102 fever and you've been around everybody for 5 minutes. It's not a good idea.
I was at the dentist thing, everybody that came in there was 99 or above, as I sat there and watched. It was hot outside.
Yeah, exactly. If you're doing the surface temp, it's not going to be as accurate as if you do like an ear.
Yeah.
But it's gonna take more time if you do something different than the,
I finally said to the lady, I said, I think yours is running a little hot. She said, everybody is just that hot.
yes, because you're
Coming in,
walking in from
yeah.
100 degrees outside, yeah. And I mean, the other thing that they could do, I guess, is have a staff member go out and take the temperature while the child's still in their vehicle, but that's just,
Like you said, taking a couple hours.
it will
No.
take forever, and you will never get everybody in the building that way, so we just were thinking this might be
That'd be good if they
a way
did.
to
Yeah.
speed that process along in the morning every day and hold parents a little bit accountable for checking.
So
on their
was
kids.
this kind of like a public health grant that
Lisa got it, and I'm
somebody
not
came up with the
sure.
idea of taking temps? Because this would be pre-COVID, right?
Yes, yeah, it was at the beginning of the
So it
school
was,
year last
it
year.
was a
that we got
public
this.
health or an infectious disease.
I would have to ask Lisa,
Well,
because she's the
I'm
one that
just
got the
curious
grant,
what-
so I don't know what it was for, but I know it was something to help the teachers have cleaning supplies in their rooms. It was like an incentive for the parents to get so that the teachers would have cleaning supplies for their room for the whole year.
Well, I commend the
So-
person who thought about this, being a proactive,
Yeah.
you know, and not knowing what,
And I mean, it's really nice because with that app through the school year last year, like if parents were using that to take their kid's temperature, it was loading it into the data and then you would get like an email and it would tell you, this is what's happening in your school. Like you have this many kids that are out sick, you have this many that have these kinds of symptoms. So like the app isn't just for the temperature, you can put symptoms in there too.
That predictor will help your flu season too.
Mhm. So I don't know if it was something along those lines for flu,
I'm sure.
and
it
it's
was.
just gonna benefit us now too.
well, I
I'll
mean,
bet
it's
you it
just,
was for the flu.
I mean, it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really handy, and for it to load the data straight to the school nurse
That would
is
be
really
very helpful. to us.
helpful. Mhm. And then, I mean, they could even share that data over to us too, because I'm sure it loads into a spreadsheet where they would be able to email it, so we would have that information.
so at Stafford, Maxville didn't apply for this grant, so can some of this Sparks money be used to,
That's what I'm hoping, is that we can use the Sparks money to get those thermometers for the students that don't have them. That way, it would just be one less step with getting all the kids into the building in the morning every day.
If
That didn't qualify.
Carly did good.
Well, this is a silly question.
I said,
Does
did you
all
ever
kids
do
have
that?
phones?
Yeah.
Huh?
I asked Carly if she had one. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Did you use it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
I
not
mean, I
gonna
know
get
some
that
parents were
100%.
using it, because like I said, you get that email and it would tell you what was going on in the school. So I know some parents were using it, and it may be the only thermometer they have at home. So,
You'll have to have 2 lanes, one that been tested, one that hasn't. Stop and get tested if you haven't sent it. But that will still save them a
yeah,
lot of time.
yes, it will.
Back to your storage building. So will that be a deal where Shannon, you know, gets the price with the building and electrical and installation and then submit it to see?
See, I don't know.
Because I mean, you don't want them going out and spending the money and then them say,
Well,
no,
we
that doesn't
can't.
qualify.
No, see, my idea is, this preliminary stuff, like those laptops, Carl's monitor, this is stuff we need now. We can tie it back to COVID. Why can't we go ahead and submit the voucher, get the checks cut, and get it purchased?
I agree.
So I'm gonna
Since you
ask the
already
guy
have the money.
tomorrow. We have the money.
Yeah.
I know.
If we can tie it back to COVID, why can't we go ahead and get, because I don't know how long that laptop price is gonna last with Randy, for instance, and I want 10.
Yeah.
And like her deal, you know,
It's already past history, you ought to be able to submit.
why can't
Get
we
it done.
go ahead and cut the checks? And-
Oh, are they wanting to wait until you send a budget in?
See, I don't know. I don't think so. I think,
We've hired a,
I think we can spend it up and then we get down to where, oh, we've got 200,000 left, we can't get it spent before August 15th. Then she needs to submit the plan of, well, we've got it earmarked for this and this and this, is how what I have read is what I think it should be, but I don't know.
but there's always the possibility that, I mean, the laptops and storage sheds and stuff like that, I mean, then we spend the money on them, then the state could come back and say, no, you didn't do that. And then we end
Well,
up having to pay
but
for
if we
that.
can tie it back to COVID,
I
Yeah,
don't think that first 800,000.
I don't
They're
think-
gonna question it that much. I mean,
no, I think
what
it's a
a
good deal.
nightmare.
Yeah. And I think that.
That would not be a function.
but that's what I hope to find out tomorrow is, can we start making these purchases to give her her stories,
I
to
think
get me
so.
my laptops, to get district court the stuff they need.
And I would figure out some good showing units to put in there also in that price. Do you guys have any kind of camera security system out there?
We have a security system inside the building. It's not outside the building though.
But does it have cameras? I was wondering if it would be worth putting one camera.
We could put
It's
one
through
Face-
TNS
We
security,
know
so.
what that Randy do. He's taking over.
See if they can get it out there.
Just one out there and that way you can see what's going on.
Well, I mean, honestly, we probably should anyway with somebody cutting a lock. I mean, I
Yeah.
called the St. John Police Department and told them, you might want to just, every now and then on your rotation, drive to and back of the health department, make sure nobody's back there
Oh,
after that happened, because it was just like, yeah, there's nothing super important in there, I didn't notice anything was missing, but somebody went to the trouble of cutting a lock off.
those guys will notice the security camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I mean, you're gonna have a lot of dollars worth of stuff up there.
I'll talk to Randy about that.
What's the name of that outfit up here?
Sturdy Built is, I just looked them up, Sturdy Built Buildings
They have those
is
there.
the dealer for the shipping containers also.
Okay.
So that's kind of your one-stop shop for, and I would think Sturdy Built would look a lot better as far as aesthetics, but the steel
Security.
containers
Yeah.
are mouse proof for
Yeah.
20 years,
Yeah.
30 years. You know, Sturdy Built, you get 10 or 15 years out of, and then it's got mice in it, but.
Yeah. And where it's behind the building, I mean, that's not gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't gonna
Like
really.
the steel container would be worth extra money.
yeah.
Is there electricity at your little building now? So that'd be something that I said.
Yeah.
Storm shelter is what,
Something like
recommended?
that, 'cause you put a shed like that in there, you might as well put electricity out there.
Where's your storm shelter?
Yeah, you're gonna do it for your
It's fine.
cameras and lights and.
Yeah.
There's a good stretch of grass between the shed and that, so another storage shed would fit fine.
There's 10s and 20s and then 40s, so I would say either at 10 or 20 depending on.
Ten would definitely fit.
Some of those 20s, they're turning sideways and then putting like a window and a walk-in door, which you might not want a window, but a walk-in, a steel framed walk-in door.
I'd say a 20-footer.
I'll have to go back there and measure stuff and see.
You can't build a shed too
I
big.
think.
That's true.
And I wouldn't put a window in it.
My
No, I
feet,
think a door should be
Clay
20.
stop and measure for you.
Okay.
my feet are 12 inches.
Yeah,
Oh,
you could look, well, 10's not very big, I mean, I don't know,
No.
this room's probably
Yeah.
15,
Ten would be.
17.
Yeah, I mean, you put in a
I
couple
would
shelving
probably
units in
call
there,
that
and it's
Oh, yeah.
all-
There's a playhouse.
10 is a word, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
just,
then
I
we go
can't
40.
visualize from the pavement to the fence how far that is, and then I can't in my head do how far it is from the shed to the
Clay's
storm
gonna do that
shelter
with his
either,
feet.
so.
And then we get a 40, and then that way we put in a garage door in case there's a hailstorm and drive it.
I'd say.
Yeah,
Well, we have an
30 foot
awning
there.
back there for that, so it's not getting hailed on at least, so.
Crazy. Yeah.
All right, I think that's all I had.
You mentioned mask wearing. We strongly encourage people to social distance and wear masks when they're in the public.
Yeah, that's what I've been posting on our Facebook page. And I've also been trying to make sure people know they need to be aware when they're going other places, what the rules are, other places, because you need to be following what they have in place in that county. So, I mean, Pratt's got a mandate, Reno County's got a mandate. Rice County just put a mandate yesterday. I don't know that Barton County's got one, but I wouldn't be surprised if they,
Yesterday.
Yeah, Miller thinks they want to do it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do in the near future with a new death over the weekend and more cases. Celine McPherson. I
Not
just got
Ellis.
in, nope, not us, but,
Ellis,
oh,
Ellis County. Apparently the governor called them out and
she
they
did.
pretty
she
much said, we ain't having it.
She called
They're
them out,
bored.
yeah,
They-
on her
it
press
took the-
conference specifically.
Pratt also said they weren't going to enforce it
Right.
publicly.
But I didn't know.
Unless they get called to a business that somebody's being belligerent and not putting one on them. If they get called, they will enforce it then.
But all the big stores,
Yeah, you have to have one at Walmart. I know in Reno County, they've closed one entrance down in there,
Yep.
checking people as they're walking in.
Everybody phones to one spot.
You go in one door and there's somebody standing outside and they ask you why you don't have a mask on if you don't have one on.
And if you don't, they will give you one.
Yes, they do.
I was there yesterday and Lily was
I was there for a
man standing
doctor's
there, and I
appointment
thought,
last week.
that's kind of weird, you're standing there and
You can't
pretty
even
soon
go
here
out
comes
the
an
door.
employee and
Gosh,
says, here's your mask.
Come back out the same way.
well, Kroger's done it,
Dillon's is the same way, yeah. Target.
Home Depot, Lowe's,
Yep.
Target,
Yeah.
Costco.
So I've been making sure people understand you need to know the rules when you go other places because you need to be following them.
Yep.
And be respectful of each other. I mean, really that's what it boils down to, be respectful. So I have asked that all of the nursing homes wear masks. The staff, they need to be
They
wearing
have
masks.
it in. Really?
I said, if it gets in there, it's coming from the staff, so they need to have masks on. We are allowing outside social distance visits for family members, but they are still required to wear a mask outside also. And if the resident is able to wear a mask, they're supposed to have one on also. So,
So I noticed the new pizza ranch in Wichita, at 21st and Tyler, opened 6 weeks ago, and they're closed now because the help, 2 of them have tested positive, so. It's not good.
no, it's not. But it doesn't, we do not need that in a nursing home.
No, we
It
don't.
is just
No,
Yeah.
not
That's
something
a
that
different
we
story.
even want to look at, so.
did they sound cooperative on that?
I emailed them yesterday afternoon, so I haven't gotten a response yet, but,
Paul, if you can send out.
and I mean, I went into Kenwood to draw a lab and there's only 1 second wearing a mask
Believe that.
and me, so it was like, no. You have them, put them on. It's important that they be doing it. So,
I thought CMS put out some guidelines, and they were saying that the staff needs to be tested weekly?
So it was kind of a recommendation if they
Oh, okay.
opened. And I don't know that we would be able to procure 500 plus tests here to be able to do it.
The CMS does hold purse strings.
And I mean, I spoke to the Pratt County director a couple of weeks ago because they have an outbreak in a nursing home down there, and they're required to test weekly until they get no more positives. So that's what, if it's in a nursing home, that's what you're looking at, is you're going in there every week and testing all of the staff and all of the residents to make sure that you don't get any more positive cases. And you do it every week until you get 0 positives.
So when somebody
Yeah,
tests positive, I know every case is different, but I mean, if somebody tests positive, I mean, how long does it take for them to get to it not testing positive?
So they did away with retesting because sometimes, even though you're asymptomatic, you're still having a viral shed, you still have enough virus in there to still have a positive test, even though the virus has run its course. I'm trying to think back. I'm pretty sure they said they tested somebody like a month after they tested positive, and they still got a positive, even though they were completely asymptomatic. So that's kind of why they went away from doing the retesting afterwards to get in. They wanted at the beginning 2 negatives before you could be released from isolation, but you can't make somebody stay in isolation for 2 months to get 2 negative results.
So they're still contagious?
Her mother
They're
tested
still
positive
shedding?
for 80.
They're still contagious?
They're saying not that far out,
Okay.
but they're saying 2 days prior to having symptoms, you are shedding virus,
Yes.
so you're contagious 2 days prior.
How long after you test positive, and if you're feeling all right, can you go back and get the antibody test that it would be relevant? I know a guy that did it in 4 days, and I thought, why would you go back that quick and find out? I think he was trying to prove that he'd actually had it and that he had tested positive. So he went back 4 days later and yeah, he tested positive
Well,
for the
yeah,
antibody.
of course you would 4 days later. I don't know.
Why would you even do the test then?
I don't think I would even bother with doing an antibody test if you tested positive with the PCR.
Because
You know you have it. Yeah, you know you're going to be building
I don't know.
antibodies at that point because you already tested positive for the virus.
So,
Because the PCR test is doing the viral RNA, so like it's getting the DNA from the virus and saying, yeah, it's there.
So it just kind of confirmed that he did have it more than anything else. Doesn't mean
I
that
guess.
he wouldn't shed it to somebody else.
Right. I mean, 4 days, yeah, you're still shedding it.
Yeah, I would think so too.
I mean, with influenza, you're supposed to stay home for 7 days because you shed it that long. So, I mean, they're doing, since they are still learning about this virus, since it's brand new, that's why they're doing the 10 days. Because they're trying to make sure that you're still not shedding the virus that far out. And so it's like 10 days from symptom onset or 72 hours symptom-free is what isolation requirements are right now. So if you still 10 days in have symptoms, we're waiting for the 72 hours of symptom resolution before you're allowed out.
The other night, it was 3 days that, I know 2 guys had it not living anywhere close to here. One guy tested positive on July 2nd, and went back on July 6th to get the antibody test.
Yeah, I don't think I would have.
What?
He's the safest.
Yeah, I don't think I would have bothered
Well,
doing
he
that.
says, well, I think I'm safe, and I said, I'm not so sure about that.
No, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have antibodies by then because your body is making them to fight the virus off, but
Once you're symptom-free for a long period of time and you get tested positive, have they studied anymore whether there is any immunity or not?
they're still studying it.
They really
They don't know
do they?
how long the immunity lasts
I've
for
heard
it.
2 or 3 months, some say a year, I don't.
Yeah, I don't think they know quite yet. I think they're still trying to figure that out.
Some people say they're perfectly safe. I wouldn't think.
I don't know, so some children that have gotten it are starting with this new inflammatory syndrome that they don't know anything about now too. So yeah, you can get it, you can survive it, but you might have long-term consequences from this virus. Because unlike influenza that's been around for hundreds of years and they know enough about it to treat it, this has only been around for 7 months. They're still figuring it out. That's what I get frustrated when people are like, oh, nobody's dying from it. Well, not that many people are dying from it, but they don't know the long-term effects that are gonna, yeah.
Could be, yeah.
There could be long-term effects from this, and that's why they're asking for everybody to take these precautions, because they don't want everybody to just get it and not know what's gonna happen 2 years down the road for all of these people. Some of the people that are in Wichita right now in ICU are having to have dialysis because it's attacking their kidneys. So
That's not a good
it's better to err on the side of safety with something that's brand new like this, rather than just
But if
think
they're
it's no big deal.
asymptomatic, probably not any long-term consequences for that.
I would hope not. If they have enough of an immune system built up that they're not having symptoms, hopefully they won't have effects long term, but we still
Low
don't
fever's a
know.
marker,
Yeah, but some don't have a fever.
you know?
Yeah, there are people that have tested positive with no fever and other
Yeah.
symptoms,
Oh,
so,
yeah, yeah. There's 4 guys on the Kansas City Royals that tested positive that had no flu, no symptoms. They said, why can't I, because you're positive.
yeah.
When they showed up, they had no idea.
Yeah,
It's
no.
just a learning curve for everyone.
Pratt Hospital has the capability of testing for doing the test, right?
Yeah, they're doing a lot of pre-op testing, along with symptomatic, but yeah.
How many of their 22 cases are in the
When I talked to Crown it was 2 weeks ago, they had none. But like I said, they're doing weekly testing, so they may have gotten more. So then, yeah, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Jen, I'll come by and measure and then you wanna call Streetville?
Yeah, I can call them.
And you're wanting to put it right where the shed's at now?
We can either put it there or, there's quite a bit of space between where the shed is and where the storm shelter is, so somewhere in that area would be fine.
Yeah, I don't think
There's a
you have
couple
to
of-
move the other one.
No, I don't think there's trees right there. The trees hang over the
Yeah.
fence. There's one in the middle of the backyard that's our tree, but it's like behind the storm shelter. But the rest of that area is open, so,
That pretty good shape.
yeah. Thank you.
Good luck.
Tree fall. Sometimes I don't know whether it's good to have trees or not.
But my pit silo is not good to have trees, it's completely full.
It's good for it. Anything else?
We'll adjourn.